To solve this system of equations, we can either use the elimination method or the substitution method. And in this case, both of them are completely viable. So I will show you how to do both methods. We're going to start with elimination. If we start by looking at our y variables, we can see that we do have opposite signs, which is good. However, our coefficients, we would need to multiply something to both coefficients to make them match. I would have to multiply 3 by 2 and 2 by 3, and that's just some extra math that we don't need to do because our x variables are very well set up for elimination method. We have opposite signs, a positive and a negative, and we would only have to multiply or divide one variable. So we could either divide 6 by 3 to get to 2, or we could multiply 2 by 3 to get to 6. I'm going to recommend you divide. So let's go ahead and divide this entire equation by 3. 6x divided by 3 will give us 2x. 3y divided by 3 will give us y. And negative 9 divided by 3 will give us negative 3. Now we have something that we can use for elimination and substitution because look, we just isolated our variable. Well, it's not completely isolated, but it no longer has a coefficient. So it has potential for us to isolate it and use it for substitution method. So we're going to put a pin in this and come back to that later. But for now, let's continue with elimination method. When we combine these two equations, these will cancel. We'll have y plus 2y, y plus negative 2y, which will give us a negative y, equals negative 3 plus 5 will give us 2. Then we just need to divide both sides. If it exists in math, there's always one of them. Divide both sides by negative 1 to get rid of that sign. These will cancel, giving us y is equal to negative 2. If we look at our answer choices, that only lets us eliminate answer choice C for having a positive 2. Now that we have our y variable, we can go ahead and substitute that back into one of our equations. I'm going to choose to do equation 2. So we'll have negative 2x minus 2 times y, which is negative 2, is equal to 5. Now we simplify. Negative 2 times a negative 2 will give us a positive 4. We'll bring down all the rest of our terms. And now we'll do subtraction is the opposite of addition. So we will move 4 over to the other side. These will cancel. Negative 2x is equal to 5 minus 4 is 1. Then we will divide. Since negative 2 is being multiplied to x, division is the opposite operation we need. These negative 2's will cancel, leaving us with x is equal to a negative 1/2, or a negative 0.5, thus making answer choice D our correct answer. Now I'm going to go back and show you how to do the substitution method. So remember how we put a pin in this part of our elimination method process because we had a y that could be isolated. So now let's start from here and try to isolate y. To do that, we'll need to do opposite operations. So we'll subtract 2x from both sides. These will cancel, giving us y is equal to negative 2x minus 3. And now we have something that we can substitute in. We have this is equivalent to y, so we can substitute that in to either of our equations. So I'm going to substitute that into equation 2. And I'll change colors for this. So we have a negative 2x minus 2 times y, which is negative 2x minus 3. And that is equal to 5. So now let's do distributive property. Negative 2 times a negative 2x will give us a negative 4x. Negative 2 times a negative 3 will give us a positive 6. Oh, and excuse me, negative 2 times negative 2 would give us a positive 4x. Now we bring down the rest of our terms and we continue to simplify, starting by combining our like terms here. Negative 2 plus 4 would give us a positive 2x plus 6 equals 5. Now we do opposite operations. 6 is being added to x, so let's subtract 6 from both sides. These 6's will cancel, giving us 2x equals 5 minus 6 will give us a negative 1. And finally, 2 is being multiplied to x, so the opposite operation is dividing both sides by 2. These 2's will cancel, leaving us with x is equal to negative 1/2, or negative 0.5. If we look at all of our answer choices, there is only one answer choice that has negative 0.5 as its x value, and thus that is enough for us to choose answer choice D as our correct answer. At that point, you would be able to mark D and move on with the rest of the test, but for the sake of the video, I'll show you how you would have gotten your y variable using substitution method. You would have had to take this negative 1/2 and plug it back into either equation for the value of x. Again, I probably would have used equation number 2. So I'll make us a little bit of room, and then we'll go back to say here. But instead of x, we're going to plug in that negative 1/2. Negative 1/2. So negative 2 times a negative 1/2 would give us a positive 1 minus 2y is equal to 5. Then we'd use opposite operations to subtract that 1 from both sides. These cancel, giving us negative 2y is equal to 4. Then negative 2 is being multiplied to y, so the opposite operation is to divide both sides by negative 2. These will cancel, giving us y is equal to 4 divided by negative 2 is a negative 2. Thus, still making answer choice D our correct answer.